Hello, hello, hola. Good morning, and welcome back to our very own Pub in the Life, here from our favorite countryside, but close second or third. Um, welcome. On this Thursday, we are just scrambling in between, just like dingling a bit in between rain and sun, rain and sun. This is spring, after all. In today's pod, let us talk about something that I, as a dog, see a lot of humans do instead of the actual doing. Now, this doesn't count as something that, and this is just a disclaimer, we don't want to give you the ability to do. We don't mean to say it's not meaningful. We don't mean to say you shouldn't do it. We just mean to say it's not the work, and it's not going to get you further along like the work. So what are we talking about? The talking about doing instead of the doing itself. Now, let's not confuse the talking about the doing with the fact of just talking about it, like in a podcast like us, on LinkedIn, whatever. Like, it's cool to document, it's right. It's a tool of, getting potential clients, potential leads. Like there are lots of positive things. But how about just consuming the things? So Mom has been guilty of this for a while. Let's say not a long time, but she's been that. She's done that. She's been that more than on that. And what does this make pretend look like? It's reading a lot of economics and business books. It's manifesting a lot without being able to just push on the right things and do them. It's listening to a lot of podcasts. It's going to lots of networking events. It looks like this, and it's not something that is real, wrong, or right. It is part of what's important to build a company, to build a personal brand, to build credibility, to actually build a network. And again, a network is also potentially people who can help you or whom you can sell to. So there are several reasons why these things are good, but they are good only coming in second, third, fourth, fifth, depending on your priorities, place to what you're actually doing, which is, spoiler alert, the most painful part of it all. And that actually is working. Now, you might want to get philosophical and ask me, us, everyone, so what is working? Working is doing the things that probably you even hate, but that will lead to results. So let's imagine that networking gives you results. It's fine. But how about networking gives you results, and let's break it down. So you go to a networking event, you're there, you talk to the person, you potentially are able to sell this person. But what are you selling? Vergola. Yeah. If you're not producing anything, you're not delivering a service. So imagine you sell a service. So is it your service? Well, okay. If it's your service, yama, then you're probably gonna need to have that service delivered, created and delivered. This goes the same for the product. You're selling somebody else's shit, yama. Well, okay, you're gonna need to look for somebody else's shit. You're gonna need to send those clients to that somebody else, and you're gonna need to take care of the fact that these people are satisfied. So, yeah, it is pretty weird. Ciao, Vergola! Io vado, Ciao, ciao. So yeah, it really depends on the job and what you do. But to be honest, this is the work. It's not making pretend of the work. Now, let's give you another type of example. Yamo, books. How much knowledge is stored inside of the thousands of millions of billions of books that are out there? A lot. Some of that knowledge will be useful for you. Some of that knowledge won't be useful for you. But again, it all depends on what you make of that knowledge. You might want to accept that that thing doesn't work, or you might simply say, okay, like for me, it might work. Now, what do you do to get your knowledge from books? Do you highlight with markers? Do you, study them in any shape or form? Do you create a template of action? What do you do? If you don't do any of this shit, you're probably not putting in practice what the book is actually telling you to do. Now, it might be just some behavioral rule book. Now, you can study and just practice in real life networking. But for example, sorry, as Gary Vee says, there is no reading about push-ups. Either you do them or you don't. So it's a very common misperception in the world of business where you would find yourself with all these people all around that simply are just making pretend just because they've read something, just because they read a lot, they're listening to lots of podcasts, they reuse the concepts of other people. But if you don't give them, like it's as if we were talking about 100 million, this is an example we did a couple of podcasts ago, 100 million business because we heard Alex Hormozi talk about it, or we talk about player trading in the NFL because we heard Gary Vee talk about it, or that we talked about, I don't know, flipping laundromats because Cody Sanchez talked about it. And these are all things that we listen to and that sometimes we take info from, sometimes we don't. But how about giving your experience and not somebody else's shit? Why do we need to talk about something that we are not, that we haven't lived, that we don't know? At some point, let me tell you the truth. You're going to find yourself in a situation which you have somebody else that actually knows. Vergola, vieni qua. That actually knows that you're just making pretend. And let me tell you about it. It's not going to be nice. Because you're going to find yourself just, trying to explain a position that you never lived, that you don't know about, something that you're not an expert on, that you might have a take, but it's somebody else's take. And how about just really, in the end, having your own company? Again, it's about levels. If you keep going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, because the up is painful and the down is easier. Die. See, I like running. You're going to find yourself anyways in a situation where you shall not have any type of solution for that level if you want to keep going down. So Vergola. Okay, yeah. So the only thing that you can do, yeah, Vergola, is literally doing the things. I'm sorry. This is painful. I know. But there is no other way for you to work it out. Just repeating. There is an interesting interview by Carlo Ancelotti, who's, is probably using the amount of legend Then that we have for Cristiano Ronaldo, talking about how Cristiano would fly in with the team back from a Champions League game in Madrid. And you have Valdebebas, which is the training center for Real Madrid, 1.5 kilometers away from Barajas airport in Madrid. And, and he would go there at 1 a.m. and he would just do 45 minutes of ice, of cryotherapy, because then he would just be ready for the next day to be, and he would be ready to go. 50 goals a season. Now that's a staggering number. And so he would go, and he would do this ice thing, and he would find himself, alone. And thing is, Cristiano Ronaldo was already, and is already, in the top 5, 3 at some point. Right now, we could say 20 best football players currently playing. And he still was doing the basics. They say the same things about Messi, except for when he goes training, he doesn't heat up and just go straight into the ball. But like, it's the same. You shall find a way to keep doing and repeating the basics. We already said them, but if you never start and you just make pretend, there's nothing that's going to happen in your life that's going to give you the reality check that you need to say, making pretend, listening about doing, Vergola, reading about doing, so fucking doing. And I'm sure you know, when you go to bed at night, you're going to realize that it's all fake. And it's not making you happy in any shape or form. This goes for all things in life. Physical activity and everything else. Sorry, it was painful, but it is what it is. Sending you lots of kisses, hugs, doing, and a bit of barks.